when you make it personal, it just, I don't know. You want, everybody's got to be, they do want your opinion. Everybody's got to be like, I want to see you. Like if whether you're Chappelle or whoever, whether you're talking about politics or you're just talking about going to the gas station, everybody's got to want to see you, the comedian, go through that experience. So that's what you have to be able to, that's what you're kind of selling to the audience, is you got to be like, here's me going through this. You want the audience to kind of be, when they watch it, they're like, I could see this guy doing this. This is what he does. Like that means they're buying into what they know who you are. And that's when you get to another level where then you're like, you kind of got your voice. You need to see comics paths. So you need to find a comic that I always would say you got to have a comic above you and below you. You need to have like someone that you talk to that's right above you, and then you need to help someone that's right below you in comedy, because you need to, there's no point in going, if you're starting today, you don't need to go talk to Ray Romano about stand-up. You have nothing to relate. He hasn't done open mics in 30 years. Like, there's nothing he can really tell you, besides like the basic information that you would get is like, just work hard, write jokes, all that stuff. But you need to talk to someone that's like 2 years in, because that person would know more than anybody. That's what you need to learn, is what to do in 2 years versus what to do in 20 years. And then I always think you have someone below you so you can re-say this stuff to someone, because you need to constantly be hearing yourself say it. So you need to be saying it and helping someone else, below you, and kind of talk. And that way you're always just talking about comedy. You have to be doing it every night.
Boom.
You have to look, if you have a girlfriend, a wife, husband, whatever, if they are in your way and you try to be like, yeah, well, I got to do stuff with my girl, like I can't go do all this stuff, then you just won't make it, probably. Because I say this a bunch in a lot of things, but no one cares that you're trying to be a comedian. No one needs you to be a comedian. No one needs me to be a comedian. No one needs Bill Burr to be a comedian. We're all choosing a job that's like winning a lottery ticket. You're choosing a career where you can make $0 or you can make $950 million like Seinfeld. Like, that's your window. Your window, it can be all over the place. You can make $1 million. You can make whatever. So if you don't obsess over it, then you will never do it, because if you're not obsessing over it, someone else is obsessing over it, and they will take your spot. The fact that they will just be around, you just got to be around. You got to be, even if you're not doing stand-up every night, you just have to be where everybody knows you're a stand-up. Everybody knows you're doing stuff, and you got to be soaking everything in. And I remember Bobby Kelly would always talk about Bob Marley would murder. I love, that's something that newer comics need to have in them. That I think because there's a mix of comedy, that I think there's a lot of comics now that laughter is not the most important thing to them, and it's about being or whatever it is.
Right.
So if you look at, I came up in the New York Times, and where guys would murder, dude, like Ben Bailey, Greer Barnes. I mean, murder. You would. The people are using. They can't believe they're watching this kind of stuff. That needs to happen.
Yes.
If that needs to come back, it's there's a new way of people writing, I think, comics writing jokes where they're very safe. They're none of their stuff is very funny. So if you don't laugh, it's kind of fine, because none of it's really that funny. It's all oh yeah, that's a good point. All that kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's weak. In the book, he said he knew anytime he started feeling comfortable, it was time to make a change. And so then he moved to LA.
Okay.
And when I read that quote, I moved 2 months after I read that quote. I moved to Los Angeles from New York, because I knew that made so much sense to me. And it's the best quote I've ever heard, is the fact that if you start building comfort, the guy that was living in Chicago.
Yeah.
If you're living in Chicago and you're having no trouble getting on any show in Chicago, you can get up as much as you want, and you're kind of looked at as one of the older comics or a higher level comic, then you have to move and you need to shake it up. If you don't, you will get stuck. You will just get stuck there, and you're just going to be the older guy, and new comics are going to come, and they're going to pass you, and they're going to move, and then you're going to end up, you can start becoming bitter, and and then it's gone, and it's over.
If you're serious about becoming a comedian, join our Facebook group linked in the description below to start getting tips like these every single day, and watch this playlist of our top writing tips to improve your writing today.